You might think marriage is a safe haven for love, a promise to hold hands for a lifetime, but sometimes it becomes a waking nightmare that tears the sweetness of the past into shreds. Today's film, Marriage Story, acts like a sharp scalpel, precisely dissecting the hidden pains within marriage, making us shed our own tears over someone else's story. Charlie is a talented theater director, and Nicole is a skilled actress. They met on stage, fell in love at first sight, and quickly walked down the aisle. Nicole gave up her future as a movie star in Los Angeles to follow Charlie to New York. Shortly after getting married, they had a son, Henry. They run a theater company together, and in the New York art scene, they are seen as a model couple, receiving widespread acclaim for the plays they create together. However, time is the most ruthless killer. It quietly erodes their love, letting the sweetness fade until only exhaustion and estrangement remain. During a marriage counseling session, the counselor asks them to write down each other's good qualities. In Nicole's eyes, full of tenderness, she earnestly writes that Charlie is a highly gifted theater director who never wavers in his convictions because of others' opinions. He always digests his negative emotions gently and never puts himself in embarrassing situations. He always maintains a neat appearance, which is rare for many men. He enjoys the role of being a father and is considerate and patient with their child. Even though he is a somewhat famous director in New York, he remains humble toward everyone in the theater company. In Charlie's eyes, Nicole is kind, loving, and always takes care of the people around her, even cutting his and their son's hair herself. Although she occasionally makes a cup of tea and forgets to drink it, he sees this as a cute little quirk. She is a natural listener who makes everyone around her feel at ease. She even gives others a push when they are hesitant. In his eyes, Nicole seems to possess a magic that can do anything. They care about and deeply love each other. From these words, we can feel the intense love they once had and the warmth of supporting each other through the years of marriage. But when the counselor asks them to read these lists aloud to each other, Nicole refuses. Even though she has filled 2 pages with dense writing, she is unwilling to read it out or listen to Charlie's statement, and eventually, she slams the door and leaves. Hearing the news of their impending divorce, friends remark with emotion. No one genuinely believed they would ever reach the point of separation. Originally, they planned an amicable divorce, hoping to give the marriage a relatively dignified end. But life is always full of surprises. Nicole receives a miracle that changes her fate, an offer for a TV pilot. This offer is like a stone thrown into a calm lake, shattering the balance of their lives. Charlie, in his role as director, bluntly critiques her acting, which leaves Nicole feeling quite disheartened within. She walks into the room with a calm expression, but under the cover of darkness, she quietly sheds tears. At this moment, she has made up her mind to escape this suffocating life. Nicole takes their son Henry and leaves New York, heading to her mother's home in Los Angeles to pursue her own career. Meanwhile, Charlie chooses to stay in New York because a play he directed is about to premiere on Broadway, an incredibly important opportunity for any theater person. This separation, seemingly a normal choice for their careers, becomes the beginning of the crack in their marriage. The moment Nicole leaves, the deep-seated desire for her own career development is thoroughly ignited. She is no longer satisfied with standing behind Charlie, being a supporting character in his plays. She wants a stage of her own, a place where she can truly shine. Carol, a TV producer, recommends a divorce lawyer she knows, but Nicole politely declines, as she and Charlie had already agreed to split peacefully without lawyers. But Carol insists on the recommendation. Eventually, Nicole finds Nora. Nora exudes an aura of shrewd competence and power. She generously praises Nicole's acting skills and then recounts her own past experiences. Nora's sincere attitude gradually dispels Nicole's defenses, and she begins to pour out the pain buried deep in her heart. In the beginning, Charlie's theater company relied entirely on her movie star fame to open doors. As the company gained fame, Charlie became the focus of everyone's admiration. Out of worship for Charlie's talent, she gradually lowered her status in the relationship. Whenever Charlie adopted a creative idea she proposed privately and presented it on stage, she felt flattered. In her eyes, a brilliant genius was actually acknowledging her ideas. At first, she accepted all of this silently, but slowly, in their family life, her voice became fainter, her presence nearly vanishing. She originally thought raising a child was a shared responsibility, but in the end, she was bearing it alone, while Charlie was only excited for a brief moment. After that, her thoughts became increasingly insignificant. She suggested moving back to Los Angeles for a while, but Charlie would casually agree and then never follow through. There was a chance for her to go back to work, but Charlie vetoed it. Yet, when he became interested in a project in Europe, he took the whole family to live there for 6 months. In this suffocating marriage, that job opportunity to return to Los Angeles felt like a thin lifeline thrown by fate. If Charlie had given her a tight hug at that moment and offered encouragement and support for her desire to forge a new career, perhaps they wouldn't be heading toward divorce. However, Charlie mocked her dream as unrealistic. Later, due to financial constraints, he supported Nicole acting in TV shows, only to funnel her earnings back into the theater company. It was only then that Nicole suddenly realized Charlie didn't see her at all. He never viewed her as an independent individual, but took it for granted that she was an accessory attached to him. When she re-examined the marriage, she suddenly realized that perhaps from the start, the moment she desired marriage more than he did, her passive role in the relationship was already destined. When she asked him for his phone number and he shook his head blankly, she finally resolved to end the marriage. She longs to rediscover the self she lost over the long years. After listening, Nora steps forward and gives Nicole a warm, comforting hug. Charlie flies from New York to Los Angeles to visit his son. As soon as he enters, he can't wait to share the good news with Nicole. Charlie has won the MacArthur Genius Grant. Nicole is genuinely happy for him and offers her sincere congratulations. However, when Charlie glimpses the divorce papers with his name on the table, his smile instantly freezes. Only at this moment does he truly realize that Nicole is serious this time. He panics immediately and asks Nicole what he should do. Nicole calmly says that he should find a lawyer too. Despite this, they both know in their hearts that they still hope to end the marriage peacefully. Faced with the imminent loss of his marriage and the prospect of not seeing his son often, Charlie begins to seek legal help. He first consults a lawyer named Jay. When Jay learns that Nicole is in Los Angeles, he knows this situation is very unfavorable for Charlie. He advises Charlie to take Henry back to New York immediately and file the lawsuit there to make it a New York case. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for Charlie to see the child elsewhere later. Then, Jay gives a series of aggressive suggestions, such as dragging Nicole's mother into the case to accuse her of mistreating the child. He suggests hiring a private investigator to track Nicole, gather negative evidence, and use Nicole's drinking hobby to smear her as an alcoholic. Charlie cannot accept using such despicable means against the wife he once loved deeply, so he decisively leaves Jay's firm. He returns directly to New York to rehearse his play and puts the divorce papers out of his mind. It isn't until a month later, when Nora calls to remind him that if he doesn't make a written response to the agreement, they will file for a default judgment, which would give them the right to claim everything, including Charlie's assets and child custody, that he reacts. Charlie is forced to fly back to Los Angeles. He confronts Nicole about this face to face, but Nicole responds that the divorce matters are being handled by the lawyers. When leaving, Charlie tries to take Henry with him, but Henry clings tightly to Nicole's arm and refuses to let go. Although the two agreed to take turns accompanying Henry, and the daytime belongs to Charlie today, Charlie insists on keeping his son by his side, even though his primary task is finding a lawyer and he has no free time to take Henry out to play. After several twists and turns, Charlie finds a second lawyer, Bert. Bert is a gentle old man whose philosophy is very similar to Charlie's, and he advises both parties to settle privately to avoid going to court. Learning that Charlie has to live in hotels due to frequent travel between the two cities, he advises Charlie to find a place to settle down in Los Angeles and reminds him to spend more time with Henry, as these actions are more favorable for winning custody. Charlie feels he has finally found someone he can trust. However, things do not develop in the direction Charlie expects. During his time with his son in Los Angeles, Charlie learns from the boy that Nicole hopes to stay in Los Angeles and have Henry go to school there, while Charlie's career is in New York. This means if Nicole's wish comes true, he might hardly ever see his son. This news causes Charlie to completely lose his rationality, and he angrily calls Nicole. On the phone, the two engage in a fierce argument. Charlie accuses Nicole of being cold and heartless, ignoring the child's feelings for the sake of her own career. Nicole fights back without showing weakness, shouting at him. He didn't expect his ugly deeds to be discovered by Nicole. He tries to defend himself, saying he was just confused for a moment, and that he only made a mistake because Nicole made him sleep on the sofa first. But at this point, Nicole can't listen to any explanations. They shout at each other over the phone, the love of the past having vanished without a trace. Soon, they hold their first negotiation with both lawyers present. Both sides state their reasons with logical arguments for why Henry should live in their respective cities. Bert points out that they had an agreement. Once Nicole finished filming the TV show, she would move back to New York. Nicole and Nora both look confused, asking when such an agreement existed. This remark allows Nora to seize a key point. She retorts. Seeing the situation spiraling out of control, Bert hurriedly pulls Charlie aside for a private discussion. He believes that if they cannot reach a settlement today, the two sides will inevitably end up in court, and this drawn-out tug-of-war will eventually drag Henry into it. Therefore, Bert advises Charlie to agree to let the child stay in Los Angeles, while asking Nora's side to compromise on other conditions. But at this moment, Charlie's mind is filled only with winning. At the very least, he wants Henry to know he fought for him. To win the lawsuit, Charlie finally decides to spend a huge sum to hire the lawyer Jay. From this moment on, this divorce event completely evolves into a fierce legal battle. In court, the lawyers from both sides go back and forth, neither giving an inch. A divorce suit that should have been filled with warmth turns into an ugly contest of mud-slinging. Jay accuses Nicole of starring in an erotic film when she debuted, trying to degrade her image and question her qualifications as a mother. Nora refuses to be outdone, exposing Charlie's affair with a female colleague during the marriage and pointing out that he couldn't even install a child safety seat properly, implying Charlie is incapable of taking care of the child. The conflict over asset distribution is equally intense. Jay argues that Nicole only received the TV offer after honing her acting skills as the lead in Charlie's theater company, so her earnings should be split equally with Charlie. Nora immediately strikes back, noting that Charlie won the MacArthur Genius Grant and a prize of $650,000. She argues this is joint property and should be split equally. After all, during the marriage, Nicole contributed a lot to the theater company and was the supporter behind Charlie's career. Two people who once loved each other are now pitted against one another in court, exposing each other's flaws and mistakes to the public. The former beauty is gone, leaving only resentment and hurt. The lawyers clash so fiercely that even the judge can hardly get a word in. So, the court decides to appoint a professional evaluator to observe the interaction between the child and the parents on site before making a final decision on custody. During the divorce process, Nicole and Charlie also share brief moments of warmth. Once, Charlie takes their son to help Nicole fix a gate that wouldn't close after a power outage. Seeing that Charlie's hair is too long, Nicole offers to cut it for him. In that moment, it feels like they have returned to the past, a time of mutual support, and the air is filled with a long-lost warmth. But this warmth doesn't last long. Reality soon pulls them back into the cruel divorce dispute. When Nicole suggests that their son sleep at her house that night, Charlie refuses. He stubbornly sticks to his own idea, not wanting his son out of his sight. This small action extinguishes the spark of warmth that had just ignited between them. The next day, Nicole finds Charlie, hoping to have a friendly conversation to try and ease the relationship. However, their resentment toward each other runs too deep, and after just a few words, they start arguing fiercely again. The argument gets more and more agitated. They start digging up dirt on each other, their words becoming incredibly harsh. This argument is like a storm, completely destroying the last shred of warmth between them. They used to be so in love, but now they use the most vicious language to hurt each other. It makes one wonder how marriage can turn a loving couple into this. To prepare for the court evaluator's home visit, Nora conducts training for Nicole in advance. Facing simulated questions, Nicole answers truthfully that she occasionally has a drink to relax, and that she inevitably loses control of her emotions when the child is naughty. Before she can finish, Nora hurriedly raises her hand to interrupt. Meanwhile, Charlie buys some plants and decorates his rental apartment to make it feel warm and cozy, attempting to prove to the court that he is a fit father. When the evaluator arrives, Charlie talks to her while cooking. Although it's not hard to detect that his control over Henry outweighs his attention to the child's actual preferences, his overall performance is stable. During the meal, the table is full of elaborately prepared dishes, but they aren't what Henry loves. And while fiddling with a dinner knife, Charlie accidentally cuts a long, deep gash on his arm. He presses the wound, feigning calm, but blood quickly soaks through his sleeve. The evaluator clearly sees that Charlie's state at this moment is not as composed as it appears. After the evaluator leaves, Charlie can no longer hold on and collapses to the floor. Based on the observer's assessment, the judge finally makes a ruling. Henry remains with his mother, Nicole, and Charlie has visitation rights. Nicole also gives up her claim for financial compensation. This long and painful divorce war finally comes to a temporary close. Charlie also slowly begins to reflect on his faults in the marriage. He realizes he was too self-centered, ignoring Nicole's feelings and needs, which led to the breakdown of the marriage. He starts learning to put himself in her shoes, trying to understand Nicole's inner world. But by the time he understands, Nicole and his son are no longer in his daily life, leaving only endless loneliness and longing. 1 year later, Charlie's play achieves huge success, and he reaches a new peak in his career. Nicole has a new boyfriend, and her career has also achieved a breakthrough. She finally stands on her own stage, blooming with dazzling light. Charlie finds Nicole and tells her that he will be teaching at a university in California and will be living in Los Angeles long term. In Nicole's home, Charlie accidentally finds his son Henry reading the list of advantages Nicole wrote about him back then. Charlie listens quietly, his heart filled with mixed emotions. The good times spent with Nicole flash through his mind like a movie. His eyes turn slightly red. In this moment, he finally truly understands Nicole, understands her dedication and sacrifices in the marriage, and feels a deeper regret for his own behavior during their marriage. Nicole watches this scene from the side, her heart equally stirred. After the Halloween party ends, Nicole lets Charlie take Henry home. As Charlie holds the child preparing to leave, Nicole naturally ties his shoelaces for him. This seemingly simple action, just like their appreciation for each other at the beginning of the film, is full of warmth. Despite experiencing so much pain and struggle, they finally reach a reconciliation of sorts, finding a new way to get along, continuing to face life together, and sharing the responsibility of raising their child. The movie Marriage Story is like a scalpel, precisely dissecting the essence of marriage. It shows us that marriage is not just two people loving each other, but the mutual grinding and compromising of two souls. In marriage, we encounter all kinds of problems, the trivia of life, conflicts in careers, and contradictions between the pursuit of personal value and family responsibility. If these problems are not communicated and resolved in a timely and effective manner, they act like time bombs, ready to blow the marriage to pieces at any moment. Nicole and Charlie's story makes us deeply realize that marriage requires joint effort from both sides, mutual understanding, mutual respect, and mutual tolerance. When we lose ourselves in marriage, we must bravely find our own direction, but at the same time, consider the other person's feelings. We cannot blindly pursue personal freedom and happiness while ignoring family responsibilities. Marriage is a besieged fortress. Those outside want to get in, and those inside want to get out. Marriage Story lets us see the helplessness and struggle within that fortress, but also makes us cherish the happiness right in front of us. I hope everyone who walks down the aisle can learn a lesson from this movie, manage their marriage with care, and let love shine forever in the long river of time.